Thanks very much. Thank you. Let me lower this a bit. It reminds me of when I was an altar boy. Thank you. Thank you. Wow. Good crowd. Good crowd. Good looking crowd too. Oh yeah. All these happy couples all sitting together. That just pisses me off. No, because it reminds me of the fact that like I can't keep a girlfriend, right? I can get a couple of dates. I can lie to a girl like anybody else can, but I can't keep a girlfriend. Most of the women I'm seeing now are kind of like my cell phone, you know, no long-term commitment, pay as you go. Of course, for the right price, I can always upgrade. But it wasn't always like this, right? I mean, I could get a girlfriend. I had girlfriends. In fact, I remember my first love, Deborah Bernstein. Oh man, if anybody ever had a soulmate, she was mine. We read the same books, we enjoyed the same foods, we liked the same movies, we hung out at the same places, we breathed the same air. I mean, I was head over heels. So you can imagine how devastated I was when she broke up with me. I mean, looking back, it was kind of obvious. I should have seen it coming. What with her being Jewish and my being a pig, you know. But I honestly thought that she was the one, you know. I mean, she met every criteria on my list. Guys make up a list that kind of indicate to them what kind of girl is the one. And my list isn't that complicated. You know, I've got real simple things on it, like nice hair and a pulse, an opposing thumb, a self-regulating body temperature. And I know what you're all thinking. Raccoons have that too. But take my word for it, a raccoon won't suck your cock. They just gnaw on it to get the honey. Besides, I like women. You know, I mean, I just wish they were easier. Sex is so much better when they're into it, when they want to be there. And I'm not talking about the rushed, empty sex you have, you know, like the kind you have when you think she might be regaining consciousness. I'm talking about meaningful, romantic sex. I once ran a rose across a woman's naked body. It's some sensual pleasure that they're all into. You know, they read it in these romance novels and whatnot. Probably should have taken the thorns off first. It's not the little prick she was expecting. Forget romance. There was this one girl, I know she was into me. I mean, the way she looked at me, the gestures that she made, the way her body was, the way she moved it, it screamed, I'm into you. So I went all out, you know, I lit candles, I burned incense, I had music playing, there was music in the background. I even bought one of those little leather Speedo things that you tie up in the front. You know what it got me? Nothing. What with the bouncers freaking out and all the other strippers in the clubs running and screaming. I mean, come on, how do you expect a guy to impress anyone these days? Best sex I ever had was with a Chinese girl. Oh man, she was great. A little expensive, a little more than I wanted to pay, but really good, really good. Of course, an hour later I was horny again, so. The only woman I've never really been with is a black woman. To be honest, I don't think I would ever be with a black woman. Not because there's anything wrong with them. Black women are some of the best looking women on the planet. But most, if not all of them, have at one point in time dated a black man. And I'm not about to be the little white guy that comes after a black man. If I'm naked with a black woman, I better be holding a puppy or a kitten when she looks at me and goes, oh my God, that's the cutest little thing! Oh look, it's playing shy. And don't get me wrong, I got nothing against black guys, you know, I don't understand them. I got a small penis, I can't dance. What the fuck are they complaining about? I don't understand why it has to be so hard. Why we can't go back to simpler times, you know, like the good old days. You know the good old days, like the Middle Ages? Women did what they were told in the Middle Ages. In general, ooh, oh yeah, liberated woman, man, we would have taught you. In general, though, in all fairness, people did what they were told in the Middle Ages. No one questioned authority, right? Little guy with a big knife who was taking your hard-earned cash wasn't a mugger. He was a tax collector. In the Middle Ages, you lived where you worked. Hell, your last name was based on the area you lived in. Right? So if you were a resident of the Royal Village, your last name was Kingston. Or it was based on who your father was. right? So if you were the son of John or the son of Frederick, your last name was Fredrickson or Johnson. And the other thing that your last name would be based on was your job. If your job was a baker, they called you Dave the Baker. If your job was a stonemason, you were called Pam Stone or Jackie Mason, right? You can't get much simpler than that. Is there anybody here named Hancock? Because I really want to know what your family's job was. Don't get me wrong, I get the other ones, right? The first prostitutes were probably called Coxwell, because that's what they did. Cummings probably dabbled in the fertility industry, you know. Cummings, a family business. And if he passed it on to his son would be the second Cummings. Okay, so puns aren't going to go over me tonight. Puns don't work tonight. I even get Cockburn, all right? He was probably the guy that owned the first chicken restaurant. Or a urologist. And I know today in our politically correct liberal society, it's pronounced Coburn. But back in the day, you know as well as I do, they did not call him that. Oh, it hurts when the pee does it. Well, go see Cockburn, that's what he does. And while you're there, tell him his roosters are night crispy. I get all those, but Hancock, you don't get that name from signing important documents. You get that name from chronically masturbating or something. Can you make a living chronically masturbating? I mean, okay, today on the internet you could, but in the Middle Ages? I know when I was a kid we could make a couple of bucks behind the YMCA. Or with the local priest, but it was nothing you could live on. Oh, you wouldn't believe the lengths people will go to touch your junk. Even your doctor. Except for my doctor, of course. When he grabs me by the nuts and asks me to cough, it's because he's looking out for my health. I'm glad he is, because, you know, I'm not looking out for my health. I'm at the age now where I have to go for the exam. The guys know what I'm talking about here. He set up, my prostate for next week, right? So I'm really looking forward to this. I figured I don't know what to expect, so I better prepare for it. So I decided to go a couple of days ago and get an enema. Well, you brush your teeth before you go to the dentist, right? I don't know, I'll be the first to admit, I don't know a lot about this new age alternative medicine crap, but is the hydrotherapist supposed to shave your scrotum before she starts? Or take your temperature? And while we're at it, since when do you strap on a rectal thermometer? Oh, fuck, wait a second. Shit. That's why she kept taking my temperature over and over and over. Fuck, well, I hope it was a strap-on, because if it wasn't a strap-on, that means that she was a hermaphrodite or something like that. And I'm not even mad about it anymore. I kind of feel bad. Because, I mean, let's face it, it's hard enough to live with a woman, let alone be half of one. Think about it, right? Half man, half woman. Think of the confusion. You're not going to tell yourself where you last left your keys or your wallet. You're watching some porn and you're getting all excited and frisky and suddenly you have a massive headache. You don't really care if this outfit makes you look fat. Like, that's a tough haul to row, right? I mean, I wouldn't want to do it. It makes you wonder what a transsexual is thinking, a pre-op transsexual. I saw one of those the other day. Picked off right away, too, that she was a guy. Which is a big deal for me, because I normally don't figure it out until we're naked in the hotel room. In all seriousness, some of these guys really need to sign an organ donor card. I mean, fuck. Anyway, it was about the 7th or 8th time that this happened that I finally realized just how much God hates me. Because if you're naked with someone and she has a bigger dick than you do, God hates you. If you're constipated, and the only way the doctors can tell you what is wrong, they can only figure out what's wrong is with a stool sample, God hates you. But I try not to let this get me down. You know, every now and again I will treat myself to something nice, like maybe a massage. I'll go into a place where the women I never have to date or take to dinner or compliment for that matter will line up, and I'll pick one out. She'll take me into a back room, undress me, oil me up, rub me down, and for an extra 20 bucks, I get a happy ending. Wait a second. Happy ending. Masseuse. Hancock. Fuck, I get it.